Hi everyone, this is Julia Scott, and I am recording for my blog number 2, my cognitive complexity assignment. I'm going to be talking about the Web 2.0 tool called Canva, which is a really basic graphic design tool that is super user-friendly so that you and your students can make some art or some graphic design. So a little bit about Canva. Canva is an Australian-made tool used to make graphics, presentations, and mock-up. They provide a lot of ready-made templates that you can use that include posters, graphic organizers, infographics, resumes, or logos. So you can kind of just import the information you need into a template that you edit and make your own. There is a free version and a even elevated version of the free version for educators that you can kind of add your students into your classroom. And there's also a paid version to accommodate all levels of designers. I'm going to be talking about resume building today, which I'll get into in a little bit, but there are lots and lots of features to Canva. So if I were you and I may or may not have experience in graphic design or experience in the visual arts, I may go into the tutorials tab that it's under Learn. I included that little screenshot so that you can access that if you do decide to use Canva at some point. And you can go through a variety of video tutorials created by the Canva makers to learn more about whatever project you'll be beginning with your students. Okay. So the real world topic that I'll be using and applying to Canva is going to be about college and career readiness. And we're going to be talking about resume building, especially as it applies to future careers in art. This is a sample presentation of how I would introduce this project to my students. So we would begin by just talking about the importance of resume building, why that is why resumes are powerful and how they can spark the interest of a potential employer or recruiter, and really the purpose of a resume for exemplifying your skills and accomplishments and things like that. Then I would have my students look at a couple example resumes that I would build. These are a couple on Robert Vinci, if you kind of understand that reference. And we would talk about which is more compelling. If you were hiring Robert Vinci for the job he's applying for, which version of his resume catches your eye, and which version of Robert would you hire? We'd also compare and contrast what was successful and unsuccessful about these two versions of his resume that may have the same information, but are presented and designed in very different ways. We would talk about what catches a employer's eye or what is important to sell yourself in your resume. So it's important that your resume presents your brand, that it identifies your transferable skills, and it highlights your accomplishments, your education experience, or your education, and then maybe your career experience as it applies to the field. And then as it relates to art, I would definitely talk about potential careers in art and at what students or, what that person might include on a resume. So if my students are interested in design, they might include in their resume any pro bono work, any commission work they've done, any projects they've done, how they've managed a budget, if there are any positive testimonials from previous clients they want to include, or reviews or things of that nature. And I included a couple things that are fall under the category of the visual or performing arts in this slide too. All right, so here's the assignment that I would present to my students and what they would be doing for this project. So first, they would find a historical artist which they would want to learn more about. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone like a painter or a draftsman, but they are pretending they will be that artist. So they have to find enough information about them that they're considered a professional in their field, and they can gather those tools. So then they're going to start researching. So they'll use both my classroom library as well as their online digital libraries, or just like Google search results, to find more about the artist's body of work, their education, experiences, significant artworks, or any other relevant information about the figure. Then they're going to design a resume in Canva from the perspective of their artist as though they're applying for their job. So at whatever point they are, considered to becoming successful, they're going to be including all of their career or their noticeable points in their career up to that point. So to the left, I've included a sample resume I built for Yayoi Kusama, who's an installation artist who was really prominent in the 60s. So I included some notable experiences up until when she had her first infinity mirror room. And my students are going to be doing the same thing. So they're going to be figuring out and synthesizing information about what is most important for Kusama to include on her resume. Why am I, what are some skills that her employer or whoever's looking at her resume, what are they going to want to know about her? They're also going to be designing their resume so that it is very obvious before they even read the bullet points that it is there, that it's compelling and it's about their art, right? So this resume emulates, if you will, Kusama's work. Okay, so now we're going to go look at Canva, and I'll give you kind of a brief walkthrough of everything Canva has to offer. Okay, so here's Canva's homepage. As you can see over here, you can see your templates, and we'll go to that in a second, the template gallery. You can see your projects, and you can see my Kusama's right here as one of my recent designs. And then there's also a variety of other tools. You can assign work within Canva if you are using graphic design as like its own class. You can, this is Content Planner, allows you to kind of put due dates on things, or to even create due dates for yourself if you're individually working as a designer and are using Canva for some reason. But anyways, what we're going to be doing is creating our own design. So we're going to go up here if you're the teacher or the student. You're going to click on whatever size you're looking for, either in pixels per inch or the inch itself. So we're going to click on document. That's usually going to be like an 8.5 by 11, easy to print off size. Okay. Now that we have our size chosen, we're going to look up what kind of template we're looking for. Canva is really great so that you don't have to start from super scratch. All right, so then I'm going to go through all of the templates they have to offer, and they have a lot, and I'm going to pick one that I think is going to match my artist well. All right, I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to click on these 3 bullet points and click Edit Design. And Canva's going to pull itself into another tab. Okay, so you can change the color scheme. So I'm going to make another one for, let's say, Frida Kahlo. Okay, then you can just edit text within your, okay, H-A-L-O. Okay, you can edit text. You can make the text bigger or smaller and move it around as you need to. Okay. Painter. Okay, you can include the artist's website if that, especially if that artist is still alive. And then you can also go and Google image search. So I might go Frida Kahlo self-portrait. And I can add some of these images to my image gallery. So this is the image I had in mind when I selected that template. I'm just going to copy and where'd you go? Here we go. Copy and paste into my template. Delete her. Sorry, ma'am. All right. And then we can just click and drag her in there. I'm not going to go ahead and edit all of these other things, but, ooh, I didn't realize that I'd done that. We're just going to put Frida K for now. And you guys get the idea. Okay, so one really awesome part that I really like about Canva are the elements, and that's really one of the most important pieces here. So when I was doing the Kusama one, your recently used elements are going to go right here. But you can add different, and your photos that you've imported can go right here. You can include different graphics. So for example, if you wanted to put like under your skills, if you wanted to put a little paintbrush next to your important skills, like there's how this little globe there, that's something that you could add. These frames are really nice. So you can go through and add like, oh, I like this frame, and I'm going to drag, lots of clicking and dragging here to my template. And I can drag my photo there again. Okay. Get rid of that for a second, and I'll show you a couple other things. You can change the text. So this is another great feature. If you don't like the font or the typography, you can go in and find different text options and just click and drag them into your template and delete and resize as you would like. So lots of just clicking, dragging, copying, pasting, and you can look at your other projects for ideas too. So I'll just kind of show you the one that I made from scratch. Let's see. We'll just go ahead and save. Home. And students would be kind of editing these to make it as personalized to that artist as possible. And they're going to be writing from that artist's point of view. Obviously, if they're just summarizing, that's only going to be a level 2 on the Create framework. But since they are investigating and imitating the artist, it makes it more of a Create level 3. Okay, so here's the one that I created before this little presentation. I included a picture of her, a picture of her work. Kusama is still alive, but she, is, she is, I think, still living in Japan now. She moved from the United States to Japan, or back and forth a couple of times. Anyways, so I included an artist bio about her up here at the top. I listed some significant experiences up before she kind of had her groundbreaking exhibition, which is her first infinity mirror room. And then I included her education and some skills. Kusama is really well known for these huge sculptural pieces where she adorns them with dots and different mark making techniques. So I was sure to include, first of all, some these image frames that I was showing you that are kind of squash-like or really organic shapes, like those pumpkins. I included a little pumpkin graphic and lots of these little dots to decorate and to kind of make it seem as though it is a Kusama design. This is just one example of how you can use Canva. Like I said, you can go back to the home page and there are so many options for you to use. You can make posters, you can make presentations, you can make graphic organizers, all within Canva. And it's just a great resource for you to use as just a teacher or for you to assign a work to your students. I hope that this video was helpful. I know it was a little bit on the lengthier side, but thank you so much for listening.